Hey everyone, let's explore an interesting dynamic in investing, which is most people need to see an asset rebound or recover from some sort of a down market, and they need to see and experience that personally before they really have a high degree of confidence that the asset can withstand anything. So let me use my own personal experience. So I first bought Bitcoin in the second half of 2017 and the first half of 2018. So 2017 was a huge bull market. The price went from $1,000 to almost $20,000 in a year, and it was just, everything was all insanely frothy. It was, a huge up market. So I bought Bitcoin in the ballpark of that for the same reason most people are buying Bitcoin now, which is it was an incredibly, high value asset that was performing incredibly well, and everybody wants to buy an incredibly, well performing asset and all that sort of stuff. And I bought some additional Bitcoin in 2018 after the price had come down, but certainly I did not load up on it at the epic levels I should have and could have, but did not. But I ended up with a reasonable amount of Bitcoin. So the question is, why did I not buy just a huge amount of Bitcoin in 2018 and 2019 when I knew how awesome it was? For a couple reasons. One, even though I had done the initial research on Bitcoin, I had not really gone down the Bitcoin rabbit hole to deeply and truly understand its fundamental value and the role it played in the world. And, I had a lot of other stuff going on in politics and business with Prosper and other things. So there was just a lot going on. And I remember distinctly thinking in I think it was 2018, thinking, I wonder what the next really big thing is. And I'll bet it's right underneath my nose. Maybe it's even Bitcoin. But you know what? I'm so busy. I don't have time to go figure that out. And I own I owned a reasonable amount of Bitcoin anyway as a result of my initial research. And so I thought, maybe the biggest new thing is right under my nose, but I just don't have time to go figure that out and validate it. In retrospect, obviously the best thing I could have done in 2018 and 2019 was exclusively study Bitcoin, get my confidence level higher, and, I would have bought a lot more. But the psychology, even if I had done a bunch of research, the psychology is when you first show up and, you're in your sort of first Bitcoin market, ups and downs, you don't have confidence in the asset yet. So even in 2018, I could have gone back and seen that the price dropped from $32 to $2 back in 2011 and 2012. And then I could have seen that the price dropped from $1,200 down to $92 in 2014. And I could have said, hey, it does this and it always recovers. But the problem is I did not have personal experience with Bitcoin's price recovering. And if you don't have personal experience with an asset's price always recovering, then it's very hard to have the same level of confidence just believing in other people's experiences. So in my case, in order to really have the confidence in Bitcoin and to be willing to do the work to deeply understand it, I had to see the price recovery in 2020 and 2021. Now, that's not really the way I was thinking about it. I was just thinking about, hey, I'm focused on sort of what's moving. And back in 2018 and 2019, Bitcoin was not moving very much. It felt very much like the last 6 months here in Bitcoin, where it was like, well, it's sort of stayed at a price below its high and it's sort of chilling there. And so, why would you go study something that's not super exciting when you could study something else? So anyway, so what happened in 2020 and 21 for me is I saw the price again run up to $69,000, first to $64,000, and then go back down to about $30,000 and then go back up to $69,000. And it made it clear to me, it's like, wow, okay, I got to really understand this now, because now this has done it twice. I've seen the 2017 bull market, and here we are again in 2021, and it's doing the same thing again. Maybe it just always does this. And of course, I did the work and came to the conclusion that yes, it always recovers for all the reasons I've covered on a gazillion other videos. But there's a lot of people who are in Bitcoin right now, and they bought their first Bitcoin as part of this upcycle of the last 12 months or the last 18 months. And so their first Bitcoin was bought at $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 or even $72,000, $73,000 a coin. And for them, they have not personally experienced the ups and downs of Bitcoin, which means they are reluctant to buy more Bitcoin because the worry is always, what if I showed up to the party and I'm the last one to show up and, I'm getting in at the end of the party and the party's about to wind down, which of course, no investor wants to show up late, put money in right before the party winds down, and then it ends up being a bad investment. So my prediction is most of the people who bought their Bitcoin between 40,000 and 74,000, which is basically any of the time post, let's call it this year. Anybody who bought Bitcoin this year in 2024 for the first time probably is not going to load up on a huge amount of Bitcoin until the next bear market, which you would think they would be loading up on it right now, because I think you could buy Bitcoin now at prices cheaper than the next bear market. But what's going to end up happening is Bitcoin will run, way high, and then the price will start coming down, and people will say, I get it now. It always does that. And as the price drops from, let's say, $280,000, as the price drops from 280 to 240 to 220 to 200, they will be buying Bitcoin. They will be buying the exact same Bitcoin that you can buy today for $57,000. But people are not buying that $57,000 Bitcoin because, again, the confidence level of too many people is not that it's always going to recover and that it is the future monetary system of the world, and it's only a matter of time. And it oftentimes takes people a cycle or so to gain that confidence. So what's going to end up happening is Bitcoin's going to run way up. People are going to say, hey, I get it now. It had a huge run up in 2023 and 2024 and 2025. Then we get a price correction in 2026, and people start buying on the way down in 2026 because they realize, hey, I'm not going to make the same mistake next time, ahead of the 2027, 2028, 2029 bull market, which if history is a guide would be what it is. They're not going to make the mistake of being under allocated to Bitcoin. So to go back to my personal story, bought the first Bitcoin at the, tail end of 2017 and the first half of 2018, then basically just sat on that Bitcoin. I didn't sell any of it, but I didn't, I was not accumulating the way I should have been until 2020 and 2021 when it went up through another bull market. And it was clear that it's like, wow, this thing really has some legs. This thing really must be awesome because it just keeps coming back. And that's when I bought a ton of Bitcoin in 2022 and 2023 and so far in 2024. And the reason for that is my confidence level had built from my experience in that first bear market of 2018, 2019. My confidence level had built by personally experiencing that I was confident bringing my personal, liquid net worth exposure to Bitcoin much higher. So my prediction is the same here, in that a lot of the people who have exposure of 1% or 2% or 5% or even 20% likely will not get their exposure of Bitcoin as a percentage of their liquid net worth. They won't get it up into the 40, 50, 60, 70% until probably, this cycle runs its course, and where, Bitcoin is back to on sale at a price probably a lot higher than today's price, but it'll be on sale as compared to the all-time high. And at that point, people are going to say, like I did in 2022 and 2023, that, hey, at these prices, if somebody wants to sell me Bitcoin at 17,000 or 18,000 or 23,000 or whatever it is, I will buy that Bitcoin because I am not going to make the mistake I made in 2018 and 2019. So my prediction, again, is we're going to get to the point where a lot of you that are new for this cycle will be buying the Bitcoin that is on sale in the 2026, let's call it. So, it'll be on sale, I think, at a price significantly higher than today's price, but it'll be on sale as compared to the high price that I think we'll reach in 2025. So those are some predictions. So one other analogy I wanted to use in the world of investing, similar to like what I'm talking about with Bitcoin, is you really only seem to get credit from the time you first talk to an investor forward. So no matter how awesome your company is, the time you first talk to an investor, it basically starts a clock, and the investor starts thinking, I want to track this company and I sort of want to see how they perform. Now, logically, you could think, but wait a second, if the company's a few years old, they've been performing for a few years. That's the whole reason you're having a conversation about investing, is because they already are performing. But psychologically, the investor has the same mindset that I'm talking about with Bitcoin, which is, yeah, but they don't have the personal experience of having that asset perform for them. So same in 2024, where we are today. A lot of people that bought 2024 for the first time, they have not been through 4 price cycles where Bitcoin has gone on to set a, epically high, new all-time high every single cycle. And because they have not personally experienced that, they're not confident putting the kind of money at risk that they would be if they had personally experienced it. So the reason I'm comfortable with a 96% of my liquid net worth, liquid meaning not private company investments, but like stocks, bonds, cash, basically anything that I could sort of liquid move around to Bitcoin. The reason I'm confident with that level is because I've been in Bitcoin long enough to see it always recover. And once you see the same asset always recover a bunch of times, and you understand the fundamental underlying reasons why that is and why you believe it will always be the case, it gets your confidence level, that much higher. So hopefully that helps in understanding some of the psychology. My guess is a lot of people who are onboarding to Bitcoin for the first time in 2024 will buy way more Bitcoin in the years ahead than they own right now. And that's just a function of getting comfortable with the asset and watching the asset perform for you, as opposed to watching the asset perform for me or for somebody else. It's just a totally different experience when you've personally experienced something performing for you, just like investors who they meet a company and they want to watch it for a little while to see how it does. And the reason is because their mental clock started when they first met the company, not when the company was founded, and other people's experience or how an asset has performed for other people just doesn't carry the same weight as having that exact same experience yourself. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll try to record another video shortly here about one other thing I wanted to cover today. So have a great day, everyone.